Hey, hello, y'all. So, sometimes when we are going through this healing journey, and I'm asking, you ladies, so what is it about? Or when anyone, right? When anyone asks, so what's going on with you? How are you feeling? How are you feeling about this divorce process, right? A lot of the times what I hear and what you say is, I'm just sad. I'm hurt. I'm disappointed. Very broad terms like that. Although those are great feelings and emotions that you should be aware of, right? But when you really want to heal, let me turn that on real quick. So when you really want to heal, you have to get down to the pain points, right? You have to pinpoint the pain points is what I like to say. So that's the first step. I'm going to say the second step, because the first step actually is identifying the feeling emotion behind it, which is the disappointment, which is the anger, which is the frustration, which is the fear, right? Which is the isolation. Those are the one word feeling pain points, but are feeling words. But after that next step, you have to break that down, right? So you're angry. Okay, well, let me write down the pain point in that. Let me pinpoint what I'm angry about, right? What I'm frustrated about exactly. Am I angry because he gets to move on with his life? Am I angry because now, my lifestyle has to change, right? And I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet and I have to get a second job. Am I angry because he changed the dream? Whatever it is that you are, angry about, or whatever it is that that pain point is, you have to dig into why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, right? So you have to ask yourself, is this a codependency, right? Am I upset, or am I angry, or am I sad, or am I disappointed because I no longer have access to this person in order to cover up my wounds, right? So what is it about losing this relationship is shaking me so much, right? And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be shook. I'm just saying you have to get down to the pain point of it. Why are you shook? Why are you hurt? So sometimes when you really dig down into the crevices of that stuff, it starts to unveil other triggers and other issues that you didn't even know was an issue. And when you dig down into the little minute, the little small bits and pieces of really what the emotion is and the trigger is, you find out that little thing, that little seed of an emotion is actually huge, and it may be the reason for a lot of the issues that you have in life, right? Not only in your marriage, but in your career, with your kids, whomever, right? So when you get down to the nitty gritty, when you get down to the pain point of it all, you may find out that it may be a sense of codependency, because now you have to start dealing with your wounds on your own. You don't have anyone you can bounce your triggers and your wounds off of, right? So sometimes we get into these relationships where they're mirrors. All relationships to me are mirrors. But we get into these relationships that reflect who we are. It reflects our wounds and our pain points, although it may look different, right? Your wound may show up differently. Let me take these glasses off because I feel like it's a glare. So your wound may show up differently than my wound, but if we dig down into the thick of it all, it's the same abandonment issue, right? It's the same bottom line issue that we're dealing with. It just shows up differently for us in the relationship. So when we can remove ourselves from the codependency in the relationship and really dig down into our own wounds and take the time to really heal that, explore that, that's when the true healing journey really starts to take shape. And you understand it's not necessarily about the ending of the marriage. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say, let me take that back. Some of that may be there, right? But the marriage ended for a reason. There was something that happened. It wasn't all him, it wasn't all you, but there was something that happened within the marriage that you kind of aided, right? That you had a part to play in, right? So you can move away. Once you've healed that and once you've discovered that, you can begin the healing process with that. You can get clarity on that. You can get the tools and the systems you need to move past that and to deal with it in the appropriate manner. Then you reflect and you realize, wow, so it really wasn't so much. You may realize that it really wasn't so much about ending the relationship as much as it was about me not being able to, me not being able to bounce my wounds and my triggers off of someone, and me being fearful and scared to have to face those things, right? Most of the time, ladies, and some people will fight me on this, but this is my experience and this is kind of how I feel. Marriage doesn't end overnight, right? You kind of know when things are starting to take a shift, right? When things are looking a little bit different, right? So you have the time to go back through things and say, okay, this is the part that I played, right? Let me get rid of that. This is the part that I played. This is the lesson that I should have and that I can learn, right? Also, if you've been separated for years and years and years, but yet instead you are still, struggling with actually divorcing, why is that? Is it a codependency, or are you really mourning the marriage because you've been separated for a long, long time, right? A very long time. So you're used to doing life without each other to a certain degree. Why is it that you feel like you are fearful to take the next step, which is divorcing? Could it be it's more about feeling like you belong or feeling like you're attached, or you may be triggering that abandonment issue, right? So I'm not trying to diagnose anybody, over IG, right? I'm just giving you food for thought. And just open up your mind a little bit and really go into your healing journey and pinpoint your pain point, right? That's how you're really going to get to the other side of this healing journey, is digging in deep to the smallest aspect of what may be triggering you, right? Because when you go down to the smallest, you may find out that it actually is a lot bigger and holds a lot more volume than what you initially thought. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Love you. Talk to you later. Bye.